All right.
Hello.
What is that sound in the background? Hold on a second. You got YouTube open right now.
Uh-oh.
What
No,
is
it's us.
going on, guys?
Give us a second. Sorry, guys. Gotta pause that. There we go.
What?
You guys couldn't hear
I
any
tell
of
you
that.
what, it's gremlins in the studio. Me and Odd Daughter had them the other night. Like my phone like flew up in the air and like landed in my lap.
What the heck?
It was crazy.
You guys didn't hear that, did you?
No, you couldn't have because it was for some odd reason we had Facebook open because we moderate our own stuff, everything.
It was my intro. It was my chit chat intro.
It skipped from us being live and watching our own stuff because we do. Just to let you guys know, we are our own moderators because we
don't trust anybody.
We don't trust anybody, especially not
trust
after all
the issues. Well-founded trust issues.
Yeah, well fucking founded.
On meth clearns.
So many levels because meth clearns.
Meth clearns out in Texas. So
we saw a meth clearn earlier.
So this was all running right now, and it just skipped ahead. It skipped to an old video, which I was thinking
it was last week.
Last week,
with,
and also we hear
with Psycho.
I'm hearing like now, like in my headphones, and then all of a sudden I hear. I was like, all right, we gotta find it. Where's it at? No one can hear what I'm hearing, but everyone can hear what I'm saying.
That's funny.
Oh, good old gremlins.
Yeah. Hopefully this is okay because I'm sending this into a couple chats real fast.
Yeah, we're spamming it.
Guys, share. That is the best way to support your streamers, and it's absolutely free.
Yeah, very free. Also, there is we're going to emphasize this through the entire episode here. Well, let me do the intro real fast, and we'll get into the extra part. Hello, everybody. This is You Can't Sit With Us. I am Hexus Daemon. This is Akia Daemon, and that is Mother de la Mort. And today we are covering the abduction of Steven Stayner. Is it Stayner?
Steven Spielberg. No,
not Steven Spielberg. Yes, Stayner.
The abduction of Steven Spielberg. Wait, what?
Say what?
This was a huge case. Like,
it was absolutely
when it came
here.
It came out in the 80s when people found out that he was alive, all this other stuff,
right?
But
this was an absolutely massive case, and I mean, if you guys don't know about it at this point, well, now
we're gonna clue you in.
We're gonna learn you today.
And there's also
and you know the thing about it is, and we'll get into what that encompasses throughout this, and then of course our patron episode afterwards, because we will be doing an expansion tonight.
Yes, we be fancy.
When you look at a family, like the percentages of just shit that a family has to go through, like this family, like just the percentage of everything that they've gone through is just, it's crazy.
It's insane.
It's insane.
Because there's one aspect of it. You have to go over to our Patreon right now, subscribe at the $5 tier.
Do it now. Do it right now.
Do it now.
Because we're not only doing, so this is its own episode right now.
Also, I would like to point out, do not give us stars.
Real fast.
Yes, please don't.
Real quick. The second half of this is actually happening on Patreon, and that's where we're covering his brother, but we're going to get into why we're covering his brother.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see.
True.
Yeah, true.
So, and there's a reason why we have to do it on the Patreon, because it's massive and graphic.
Yeah, it gets a little much, but
I'll tell you what, man, my state's got some crazy shit happening here, because all this takes place here in California.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
And it also takes place up in Sierra Nevadas.
Of course it fucking takes place in California. I mean, we just went to freaking Panda Express, and I ran into a meth head preaching at me.
What are you preaching?
No, it was a preaching, but it wasn't like preaching Jesus or anything. Like, he wasn't talking about
Was he
religion.
talking about his Lord and Savior meth?
He might as well. Well, okay. So it's actually kind of weird because he was like, it's chemicals, guys. It's chemicals. And you guys just don't understand. You don't know. You don't understand what's going into your body. And I'm sitting here going,
What?
You're
Yeah.
on meth.
No.
You're on fucking meth.
I no habla español.
See, that's when you go, are those little green men up in that tree?
Actually, I'm pretty sure I looked at him and said,
He would've been-
Jesus Christ.
He would have been skeeved off a dupe and all
Alan.
over.
It was a crystal Methodist. I guess let's get into that.
Oh,
Hey, Shadow. Hey, Henry. Hello, Dizzy. Dizzy's going to be on with me tomorrow night. Sorry I didn't get the
fine.
ad out quite yet. Things have been absolutely crazy, especially with my health. But like Dizzy and Tex are coming on tomorrow night. That's going to be so much fun. Haven't had
that
them
will
on
be
in
a
a
lot
while.
of fun.
So, hey, Calvin. Thank you, Shadow, for sharing out. Really appreciated. Hey, Wolfman, what's up? I sent Wolfman the link, and he's like, I'm already watching.
Yeah.
I'm ahead of you.
God.
I got you.
And yes. Hi, Artemis. What about smiley faces instead of stars? Yes.
Yes, because anything like that will put us higher in the rankings with the algorithm. So
Yep.
anything like that helps, guys.
Liking
and
and
it's absolutely free.
sharing.
Hi, Star.
Yes.
Liking and sharing helps out. But don't give us stars because
We don't get any of the damn money.
Well, and just some disgusting self-promotion. If you have an Audible account, we are on Audible with our podcast. So guys, go in there, subscribe to our podcast and give us a review.
Yes, please. It'll bump things up.
our episodes
will.
drop every other Thursday.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
you will see this episode up next Thursday.
Yeah.
How about bunny rabbits?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This coming Thursday. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Well, about bunny rabbits, I learned that they can get kennel cough.
they can.
Yes.
I don't.
Cats, dogs, bunnies, all can get kennel cough. So there you go. There's about rabbits.
Huh.
I think one of our cats has kennel cough. That's why I did some research. So
let's go ahead and get into this.
all right.
Let's
Only
do
Yeah.
Guys,
it.
this is our podcast side of things. So we will be getting the comments when you pay us. Like always, you fucking pay us. We'll answer your comments. We said hello. That's as far as it goes. Now we'll be getting to your comments when we get around to your comments.
So I ended off with, oh damn. Thank you. Give us likes and shares. Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you, Henry.
Okay, so from this point forward, I'm going to take that back down. Now we are going to get into our subject of the night. That sounded kind of dirty.
Steven Stayner.
Look, we're all vampires. We can't do anything functional when the sun is shining.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I got to bring up one more comment. Ask cash or grass. No comment is free.
I got a French press and I'm using it right now.
I like him. I like him.
You have it in here?
Yeah, that's why you get a French press. So you can take it around with you. You just make your carafe of coffee.
Well, y'all are just swanky.
Yeah, well, we're Californian. All right. Comments.
Comments are done now.
You
The rest
guys
of the night is
may
Slippy.
talk amongst yourselves, but we are doing our podcast now. Please refrain from talking to the host because we don't give a fuck. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, we do. And
We
it is
care.
so hard for us to stay on point without like getting sucked down the comment hole.
Henry, okay.
Sorry, but I have to
Damn.
say hi to Slippy, okay?
I'm more fucking with Akia right now.
I'm ADHD and I'm in control.
Here, have some coffee because it works wonders for people with ADHD. It
I don't
actually
want
does.
coffee. It does make me sleepy. It really does.
Slippy
not okay.
podcast.
That's what I said. Podcast. Okay, so I'm gonna try to. There we go. Look at. I got rid of them.
Did you?
Can't see them. I cannot see the comments, guys.
But you can't see your notes either.
That ain't true. And boom.
You don't have to do it this way.
What?
I can see the comments.
Did you just pull one up?
I'm all, no more comments. I'm like, okay, so hey, so don't say Hexus over here. But just kidding. I'm sorry.
Okay, here we go. I should not show him this right now, but
What happened? Oh,
like you need it. But
well, I'm technically doing illegal speedball, like you said, because I got stoned before the show, and now
he's
I'm
drinking
having
coffee. I told
right
him
now.
not to do an upper and a downer at the same time.
It's a homeopathic speedball.
Okay, so at least we aren't going to Chris Farley ourselves. Jeez.
No, we might just have kidney stones from this. Who knows?
Just what we need. All right, here we go. So tonight we're talking about Steven Stayner. Stephen Gregory Stayner, born April 18th, 1965, and died September 16th, 1989. He was an American kidnapping victim and something that I'm not going to mention quite yet.
Yes. By the way, guys, go subscribe to our Patreon right now, the $5 tier.
You will find out what that additional thing is.
Yes.
Towards the end of this podcast.
Yes. So on December 4th, 1972, 7-year-old Stayner was abducted in Merced, California by a child molester named Kenneth Parnell.
That's another one. I not to do a show note or prep right now, but he's another one we need to cover too. Definitely need
Parnell.
to cover. Yes.
I grew up at a park or near a park named Parnell Park.
They're not all bad.
That worries
me.
me.
Some Parnells did some good.
It worries me. So he was held by his abductor 38 miles away in Mariposa County and later in Mendocino County until he was the age 14, when he managed to escape with another of Parnell's victims, who was only 5 years old, Timothy White. So Steven Stayner was the third of 5 children born to Delbert and Kay Stayner. Delbert. Not Dilbert, Delbert.
Delbert.
There's like an extra variation on that. He had 3 sisters and an older brother named Carrie. And we're not going to get into the next part. Suspense.
Where's the vape?
In my hand.
Okay. Can I have?
Ow. I was being petty. And it bit me in the ass.
Well, you were being petty. You got your coat.
Oh. You do know a petticoat is like a.
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
They're like pantaloons.
I wore one at the wedding. Remember the fluffy thing under the dress?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, he was mostly staring at my tits while we were on the altar. Like, no joke, we were at the altar and he was like, and at one point, while our officiant was, our priestess was actually like talking to us, I had to be like, hey, psst, eyes up here. Hey,
Was he staring at your pantaloons?
No, he was staring at my tits.
I was drunk.
He was shit.
I was crunk. I was so drunk. I was crunk.
I ain't gonna lie. My dress was popping. My boobs were popping. They were like up here and like, woo!
Okay.
But like,
Hi.
hi.
Oh, now we got comments. All right.
It's because I moved my boobs.
And the views go up.
Woo!
All right, so where were we at?
Santa Monica. No.
So first off, hello everybody. We are going to get to comments shortly. We are talking about Stephen Gregory Stayner right now. And this is our podcast side of things. So, for the record, okay, on the afternoon of December 4th, 1972, Stayner was approached on his way home from school by a man named Irvin Edward Murphy, who had become acquainted with the convicted child molester Kenneth Parnell as co-workers at a resort in Yosemite National Park. Murphy, described by those who knew him as a trusting, naive, simple-minded man, had been enlisted by Parnell, who had passed himself off to Murphy as an aspiring minister, into helping him abduct young boys so Parnell could raise him in a religious type deal.
And he got away with it for years.
As Murphy later stated. So
I want to raise him as a choir boy.
Okay, here's what I don't get.
Treated him like a choir. Fuck, I'm bad.
Here's what I don't get, though. I know that he might be simple, naive, and trusting, but seriously, if I were to come up to you and be like, hey, I need you to kidnap kids so that I can raise them better than their own parents.
Well, okay,
It depends. It depends on the mental capacity of this Irvin Edward Murphy. I would think in his IQ level.
But it still should seem odd.
If you came up to me and said it, though, I would probably have to go along with it. I'm sorry. Be like, there's a reason why we're abducting kids right now. She has a plan. I already had the chloroform out. Chlorophyll. No,
You were right the first time.
Chlorophyll. He had the leaves out.
He has the chlorophyll out.
Why does he have a bag of crunchy?
Why is he holding an oak leaf?
He doesn't know. Him be.
I'm just letting him think it's chloroform.
He
didn't know.
He's he's just trying to be himself right now, okay?
Yay! You let me be myself. Jeez.
Haha.
Look at all this.
So
here we go. Acting on the instructions of Parnell, Murphy passed out religious tracts to boys walking home from school that day. And after spotting Stayner, claimed to be a church representative seeking donations. Stayner later claimed that Murphy asked him if his mother would be willing to donate any items to the church. When the boy replied that she would, Murphy then asked Stayner where he lived and if he would be willing to take Murphy to his home. After Stayner agreed, a white Buick driven by Parnell pulled up, and Stayner willingly climbed into the car with Murphy.
Wow.
Parnell then drove a confused Stayner to his cabin in the nearby Cathy's Valley instead. Unbeknownst to Stayner, Parnell's cabin was located only 700 feet from his maternal grandfather's residence.
That's insane.
From Stayner's maternal grandparents or from Parnell's?
Stayner.
I wonder.
Wow.
From the kid's grandpa.
That's insane.
Damn.
And he just did it so
That's
fluidly.
balls. Well, I mean, he may not have known, but still,
no.
At some point he would have known, and that's freaking ballsy.
Yeah, and the fluidity of how he did it, and like just went up there, started talking to him. Hey, I'm from the church. Would your parents have anything to donate? And he's, oh no, yes, they would. And it just goes from there, and just right in the car. And because another thing too, with it looking that way, there was no struggle. It looked like he was just getting in a car with somebody he knew, someone who was supposed to pick him up. So.
Oh yeah. So this is where it turns into like trigger warnings, guys.
This is gonna get.
We're about to get a little bit brutal. So trigger warning, guys.
Brutality at its most brutal.
Yeah, it's gonna be
the metalhead.
Should we get to the comments? Because there was actually a really poignant one. So before we go into this brutality, first off, podcast. So don't say hexus over here.
Yep. You shut your whore mouth.
Wow.
Since she can see this, I like the rocking feeling when I shit on the washing machine.
Excuse me? Huh.
Thank you, Slippy. Thank
you, Slippy, for letting us know.
Oh, thank you. So, hello, Sarah. How are you? Hello, Beth. How are you? Yes, the petticoat is what makes the dress fluffy. I had an orange one under my wedding dress.
Was it? What did you say? What was fluffy underneath?
Yes, the fluffy underneath part. Hey, I tiled the floors before we got married. So
you very much did. Salted the earth. There was nothing growing. I'm kidding.
I went all of it. All. Um, hello. Hey Tony, how are you?
Hello, Tony.
Whoop whoop.
Oh, that's Tony. Okay. Hey,
Yes,
Tony,
it's
what's
that
up?
Tony. Thank you for joining. Boogie started that one. Every time he sees me pop in anywhere, he's all hack.
Hack.
I'm always watching these true crime feeds. Damn right, Beth.
Yeah. You got to start sharing them out and liking and subscribing too.
Yes.
To our Patreon, which is actually after the show on our Patreon. You see the crawler right there. Go to our Patreon.
Buy us a cup of coffee.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Buy us a cup of coffee.
I mean, he's
I'm having
right
a
now,
coffee right now.
but
Go to our Patreon.
I will accept a matcha.
Subscribe at our $5 tier, and then you'll be able to
You
see
get all
second
kinds
half.
of cool stuff.
Yes.
Yes, actually, thank you, Legion's Nightmare, for joining us tonight.
The PBDC,
They are showing in like force.
The PBDC Collective Inc. Patreon.
Yeah.
I think.
It says it down there.
Yep, that's how you find it.
Yes.
Aha.
Slippy, this is the poignant one, okay?
Yeah.
That's what happened to my grandmother. She was kidnapped in California. That must have been the norm back then.
California, there's a lot of places here that happens. Bakersfield alone right now is the sex trafficking that happens here because we are one of the major corridors for shipping and all that stuff. And
sorry.
And the Highway 58 goes out through this way, which feeds the rest of the United States. And then you have the 99, I-5. I-5 runs the entire length.
The 99 hits everything, though.
Yeah. Well, 99 goes up into Sacramento, and that's where it stops. But I-5 connects. It starts way down in Mexico, goes all the way through to Canada. And yeah, there's a lot of places to be abducted around here.
Well, and the thing too, you've got to remember, this was back during this was back during the 70s. And back then, like, we were just starting to understand the meaning of serial killer, much less a serial child predator. Most police departments and things like that, they just were not designed to be able to handle that type of crime. And it was so often that it was just assumed the child ran away. That's if you do any type of research in child disappearances during like anything prior to probably the late 80s, maybe mid 90s.
Yeah, well, I mean, they still do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
honestly,
they still do that. 2%. But
you can go in and be like,
they'll show up eventually.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you go in and go like, hey, my kid is usually very prompt. They're always on time. They are about 3 hours late at this point. I just know something bad has happened.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be like, I'm sorry, but it hasn't hit the 24-hour mark, and there's not much that we could do.
Yeah.
After that, though,
that is something I think is so important for parents to instill in their children. And I remember it was like stranger danger, when we were going up through school, and they would have the little pamphlets they would pass out. But that's one thing I've always told Odd Daughter. An adult has absolutely no need for your assistance.
Yeah.
Absolutely
none. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely none. And if one is asking for that, I don't care if you make a fool out of yourself. You scream, you yell, you draw attention to yourself, because an adult has absolutely no need for your help.
There's no reason. If they lost their puppy, they're an adult. They can find their puppy.
I want to help them find their puppy, though. I want a puppy.
I mean, the worst part is
well, now my brother did try to help this guy when we were at the beach find his teeth that got knocked out of his mouth when a wave hit his back.
Holy crap.
To be fair,
and my mother was like, "What are you doing? You're not going to help this man find his teeth."
That's funny. So Beth said they definitely are at the time not too bright, because they believed every stranger that said they knew their parents. Well, it's not that, but they had never really been given a reason.
You got to understand.
People were very naive.
Well, even to hey, kids are just naive. They don't understand because they haven't experienced any of it yet. So it's, you know, it's easier to, that's why there's such easy victims for these people like this.
Right.
Because they just go up to them and abduct them. Stuff's going on. A lot of kids too, especially in the cities, they just turn the other way when things are going down because you're not supposed to snitch. You're not supposed to say anything.
Right.
According to a lot of going along with like kids and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's insane. Like it's one of the things like because we're trying to have kids, and it's one of the things that's all that scares me because you're talking about like you tell our daughter, hey, don't. There's no need for anybody to or you. I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing you just
No,
said
it's
it.
okay.
There's no reason for you to help out an adult in any way, shape, or form. And it's the same thing that keeps me up at night thinking about kids like that or everything. It's like what's going to happen to my kids when they have to walk home from schools?
Right.
What
Right.
when I'm that one time where I can't go pick them up, and yeah, they are technically old enough, and then all of a sudden,
find my way to go pick them up.
No, I'm saying something comes up. You know what I mean? Like if they're like even teens.
You need to teach your child to be self-reliant to a point in case there was an emergency. I understand.
Yeah, that's true. I understand that. So Slippy says, buy their shit.
Yes.
Please do.
Please.
Yep.
And Beth said they even do that here in Canada. They'll just assume they ran away. Yeah, they still do that.
I just blame Canada for everything. I don't care.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
Sorry, Beth. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, Beth. Sorry, I had to. No, but it's not that they were stupid about it. They were ignorant about it. They were naive about it.
And they were untrained on how to handle it.
Yeah, and so I mean, there's a point when we all thought the best in everybody all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And people didn't lock their doors because they felt like there was no reason to lock doors. Because why would I have to? There's a point. I mean, in Tennessee, when I moved there, it did trip me out that nobody locked their doors.
Yeah, that's insane to think of.
And I moved there in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we watch a lot of stuff on
Well, and you've got to think too. I mean, they did, whether it be the just regular citizens or anything that was in any type of law enforcement, they didn't have the tools that we have now, such as the internet and different programs and things like that keeps track of that kind of stuff. And like when we were doing the podcast talking about what's his name, like the Boy Scouts and how pedophilia had infiltrated certain aspects of different things. There was a whole underground mailing list for people that got into this kind of stuff, and it was super hard to track. And when emails,
magazines.
Yeah, and when emails first started, when people started being able to get the capacity of emails, based on our Constitution, I mean, they had to go in there and change a couple of laws because technically the government or the email owners, such as like Yahoo or whatever, I think it was Hotmail back then and some other ones, but they couldn't go into your email. They couldn't save your emails because it was a breach of our privacy, and we were doing all kinds of things using email until they were able to change some of those laws to where they could get search warrants and things like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're BTK and you ask the police, can you track a floppy disk? And the police were like, no, we can't. Go ahead and erase everything off there. Okay, thank you. I'll erase everything off here so you guys can't track me. And then they found him because they tracked his ass because he's fucking a moron.
Do you know how many? I listen to so much true crime stuff, like on some of these other podcasts, and there's a couple of them, like the Briefing Room, that kind of just talks about different cases and how certain laws apply to those cases. How many people that were convicted of serious crimes, all they had to do is go in and look at their Google history. How do you poison somebody?
Right.
That's literally how they go. Yeah, Casey
Yeah.
Anthony was one of them.
Casey Anthony.
I know she
How
got
does
away with it, but
chloroform work?
yeah, literally, and because the detectives didn't look. They only knew about like what was it, Yahoo or Google or something like that.
Yeah.
They didn't know about was it a Fox? What's the other one?
Firefox.
Fire. There's a couple other.
Wait.
Yeah.
They didn't know Firefox was an actual search engine, and because they
Okay.
didn't know it was a search engine, everything she searched over there wasn't held in court or anything like that. So when they went by her other stuff, it was or like her Google account or whatever it was, it had nothing on there. That's how Casey Anthony got away with it. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Vice says, sucky, sucky, $5, make you holla.
Oh no, I gotta go up to $10. I know there's a conversion rate between Scottish francs or whatever your money's called, and I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Vice.
Rubles.
So one of the things that I do want to mention,
Rupees?
because we were talking about how there were some laws that had to be changed because there was no way to really acquire people's things on the internet with a warrant or anything like that, because it really wasn't covered. So there needed to be some amendments that happened in order for law enforcement to be able to actually get a warrant for that. So recently there was a case, Alec Murdaugh. He killed his entire family. And it was weird though, because his son was already on trial for something else. This guy was, we can cover him another day, but basically he was a lawyer. He came from a family of lawyers. That family was like generations of lawyers. And they basically owned the town. And his son got in trouble because there was a horrible accident and somebody died. He was basically on trial at this point for her death. And because he was driving a boat drunk at 17.
Wasn't this down in Florida or something?
No, it was somewhere in the South, but like
I vaguely remember this. Anyway, go ahead.
Southeast. This is very recent, very, very recent. And so fast forward, we don't really know the reasons. He ends up calling saying, "Oh my God, somebody killed my wife and kids." And
fiddlesticks. Look what happened. I wonder what.
Oh shoot. Yeah, and so, but this was a press. This case was a very, very pivotal case in the court system, because this was the first time that they were able to get into an iPhone, get access to every little bit of the iPhone, meaning everywhere that it went, tracking all the steps, location.
That's unusual.
Yeah, they were able to break into it and get the videos that had not been sent from a dead phone. They were able to break it and get the exact direction and everywhere that he walked with that phone, around and before and after he made that phone call.
You know what's crazy is how people just don't think of that.
Yeah,
like
but
now,
this is the thing. This is the first case that they have ever done this to convict somebody. And it set a precedence.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so
well, I mean, it's
a little scary, but at the same time,
it is scary, but at the same time, if it proved everything and,
it did,
and they went through the proper avenues to get the warrants and all that stuff, it wasn't, then it is what it is. It's just
that's my thing. I think warrants should always apply to things like this. Like you need to have a reason to do this.
They did have a warrant. They did have we could always get into this case another time, because it's actually a very, very interesting, like multi-leveled case. But I wanted to mention that they actually used his iPhone, and they had to subpoena it, and they had extra steps that were generally never heard of to be able to do this. And so now this sets a precedence. They caught them because he went to prison because of this, because they were able to prove. They found a video on the dead son's phone where it said, "Dad, what, why, gunshot."
Wow.
And then everything, he was filming a video for his friend that he was watching his dog or something.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's as long as they had a warrant for it and it was, they went through the proper avenues. It is what it is. It proved it. He was the one who was dumb enough to have his phone on him when he went and did all this shit. That's why I don't understand how you don't think of that in this day and age. Your phone tracks every little thing.
No, I wasn't thinking of it a bad thing. I
No,
was just saying
not just that, but any DNA
in general.
evidence now, they can use the ancestral DNA. I mean, Paul Holes set a precedent with that when he caught the Golden State Killer by using the ancestral DNA, which was never thought of before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the only way you're really going to get away with a lot of things now in America is one, you have to never have committed a crime or gotten in trouble with the law,
or never joined the military, or
never had a family do a DNA test.
And then you have to go basically, I hate to say it this way, but you go after the less dead. When you go after sex workers and stuff like that, and just toss them out on the highway.
It's almost impossible because they are doing. Yeah. And I would love to do a stream on this at some point. Just some of the fascinating things, and we talked a lot about this on the podcast I just finished up about the medieval diseases. The DNA aspects of it, like now they can use a very tiny amount of DNA. And actually, almost like on Bones, when they had that thing that would give you the 3D image of a person's face.
Yeah.
They can do that accurately enough to where in at least one case, it looked extremely similar to the actual killer. Now, granted, it goes off like, say you have, I don't know, like Italian, different DNAs in your family. You're going to have certain features that someone say from, like Norway or something would not have. But that doesn't necessarily, when you get like a 3D picture from DNA, that is what the person looks like. That's going to be close to what the person is.
You just if it's in Italian, you just get a picture of Mussolini right there real fast. That's
just
the
a
picture.
hand.
It was him. He did it. And he's you don't like the pizza? What?
You don't like the pizza.
Oh, it clearly was Akia who killed everybody.
I'm Sicilian, thank you. We're the ball, not the boot.
I get it now. Okay.
Let's say hi to Tyler.
Vice says, wait.
It's pounds, Vigo, pounds.
I don't know. However you guys do things over there.
Tyler says, my name is Petey and I have huge balls.
Excuse me? All right there, Petey. Your name is forever Petey, Tyler.
Huge ball pity. Petey.
Huge ball pity.
Make sure you have lots of lime, wear gloves, rubber, because it burns away the evidence.
Yeah.
Oh, hello,
Kisa.
Yes. Hello.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, it has to be burning lime, not garden lime. Garden lime will actually preserve it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Didn't Dean Coral make that mistake when he had his murder shed?
Both will keep the smell down, but I remember we used the wrong kind of lime one time when we buried our Great Dane, and my dad, like 10 years later, happened to by accident dig up a corner of the grave, and that dog, it may not have had any skin, but it still had muscle and bone.
Ooh. Yeah, Dean Coral in his shed where he was storing all the kids, the bodies of the kids that he was murdering, he would store, like he dug down real deep and he would put a layer, then throw a layer of lime or whatever it's called, and then throw a layer of dirt, do it again over and over again. When they actually got done digging up is it excavating it or however they
excavating?
No, when they're pulling for bodies and stuff like that.
Exhuming.
There you go. I couldn't think for a second, but
it's basically the same thing. It just sounds a little bit more respectable.
They only were able to
excavate Bob.
Yeah, pretty much. They were only able to exhume so much of it before it became, because it was in the middle of summer and it became corpse juice, and they basically had to leave the rest of the bodies there.
Corpse juice.
Well, you can get certain diseases from like,
oh yeah,
it's the new diet fad.
That kind of
corpse juice.
Corpse juice. Yay!
So, anyway, we're
back into this.
So let's get back into this right now.
We're not talking about corpse juice anymore.
We were talking about the legalities and pedophiles when they went from the magazines that were more easily hidden into email, which they ended up having to get more laws made for access to it. And now we're at a point where people are accessing phones for the same reason.
Right.
And even Alexa has helped.
Did not, though, on Alexa, not to go off another tangent or a tangent.
Oh, it was inadmissible because it was.
They tried to get, they did try to get the Alexa, but when they did the warrant or something like that, they left it out of the warrant, so they were not able to use it. And they tried their hardest to get into it, and judges would not let them do it because it wasn't constitutionally right.
Right.
That's crazy. That is crazy. All right, so we left off talking about how Steven Stayner was actually being held captive several hundred feet from his maternal grandfather's house,
which was a Merced, wasn't it? And it was like only 37 miles or something like that from.
No, he was only 38 miles from his parents' home.
Yeah.
But so here we go. Trigger warnings. This is the bad part. This is the part that sucks. So yes, this is bad. This is very bad. Parnell molested Stayner during the first night at the cabin. He began raping the boy 13 days later on December 17th. After Stayner told Parnell many times during that first week that he wanted to go home, Parnell told Stayner that he had been granted legal custody of him because his parents could not afford so many children and that they did not want him anymore.
That's evil.
Wow.
It's evil.
Well, he was already pretty evil.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's fucking evil, man.
Parnell began calling the boy Dennis Gregory Parnell, retaining Stayner's real middle name and his real birth date when enrolling him in various schools over the next several years. Parnell passed himself off as Stayner's father, and the two moved frequently around California, living in locations including Santa Rosa and Campeche.
You ever been to Santa Rosa?
Yeah.
Santa Rosa is gorgeous.
But I have never been to Campeche.
I have not. I'm pretty sure it's near Santa Rosa.
No, it's in Mendocino.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's around this. Santa Rosa is its own county. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So Parnell allowed Stayner to begin drinking at a young age and to come and go virtually as he pleased. As he frequently moved from one menial job to another, some of his work required travel and leaving Stayner unguarded.
There is something they're leaving out here, unless they're going to get into it, but he was extremely brainwashed too.
Yes. Well, that's kind of what they got to here.
Okay.
Was that
that's how he was
able to convince him that his parents didn't.
It's almost like Stockholm syndrome in a way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if he was just a regular kid, he didn't do any of this, but aside from the messed up molestation, and the minute he left him alone, the kid would have just been like, okay, I'm going home now. I can try to find a way to get a cop or something like that. But he was completely brainwashed.
Oh yeah. So an adult Stayner later remarked that he could have easily used these absences as an opportunity to flee, but was unaware how to summon someone. One of the few positive aspects of Stayner's life with Parnell was a dog he had received as a gift from him, a Manchester Terrier named Queenie. This dog had been given to Parnell by his mother, who was not aware of Stayner's existence during the period when he was being held captive by Parnell. For a period of 18 months, a woman named Barbara Matthias lived with Parnell and Stayner, according to Stayner. Matthias, along with Parnell, raped him on 9 occasions at the age of 9.
Wow.
In
Fucking
1975,
evil,
on Parnell's instructions, Matthias tried to lure another young boy who was in the Santa Rosa Boys Club with Stayner into Parnell's car. But this attempt was unsuccessful.
So, he wasn't held captive at that house. He had him enrolled in like a boys club, all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was held captive, but he didn't know how to say it or what to do.
Yeah.
He was
and he didn't know if this was, I would imagine, being so young. And it goes to the naivete. The child being so naive that at 7 years old, as bizarre as this sounds, this could have been very well normalized in his brain.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
everything else is normal. You're enrolled in school. You're enrolled in extracurricular activities. You have a dog. You're trusted to be alone by yourself. It's just this other aspect that goes on behind closed doors that is not normal. But how does a child at that age really know that is not normal if that is all pretty much he has known? Really, a large majority of his life by the time we get to where he actually leaves.
Well, the crazy part, like, I'm sorry. That is the least of the fucking concerns here, but so Matthias later claimed to have been completely unaware that Dennis had been kidnapped. Who fucking cares? You raped him.
It doesn't matter. You're right. Exactly.
Like, who cares? Oh, I didn't know that he wasn't his, and
Exactly.
You knew he was 9 years old.
Exactly. You knew he was not supposed to be in that situation. So fuck you too.
Yeah.
So escape. As Stayner entered puberty, Parnell began to look for a younger child to kidnap. Parnell had used Stayner, to attempt to kidnap children on prior occasions, but all the kidnapping attempts were unsuccessful. Oh, there's an episode of like NCIS or CSI or some shit like this.
This is what, when I was a kid, because this happened obviously in the 80s, or he came out in the 80s because that's when he got away. But this is the one case that was shown to us in school of what could happen if you talk to strangers.
Yeah.
And stuff. It was literally, you would be abducted, then all this messed up stuff's gonna happen.
Forced to kidnap other kids, and the cycle goes on.
Yep. By the way, if you want to bring it up, I put up pictures of Stayner and Parnell.
Well, okay, give me 1 second here. So basically, at this point, Parnell was trying to make Stayner an accomplice, his protege.
He was grooming him
so that he can, he was grooming him to be him.
Pedophile.
Yeah.
An enabler, at the very least.
Yeah, so this is Stayner right here.
He had to be what?
This is after they got him back.
Okay.
So I think he was like 17.
16, 17.
16, 17, yeah.
And then this is Parnell also. Freaking monster, man.
Motherfucker.
Dear God. So, because on prior occasions he was unsuccessful in assisting in kidnapping other children, Parnell believed Stayner lacked the means to be an accomplice. Stayner later revealed that he had intentionally sabotaged these failed kidnappings. On February 14th, 1980, Parnell and a teenage friend of Stayner's named Randall Sean Porman kidnapped 5-year-old Timothy White in Ukiah.
Fucking
how it is so weird. I mean, like, how do these sickos just seem to be able to find other sickos to help?
We were talking about
it's
the day
so weird.
On the way out, like we were out fishing earlier today, and we were talking about it on the way in. Like, we don't understand when a person's normal state is, I want peace, I want everything to be, I want
to be left alone and just be able to live my life happily.
Yeah, I want stability and stuff like that. I just want to be left alone, whatever. But then you have these people out there who are like,
angry, pissy.
They just want to fight. Yeah, they just don't care. They just want to watch the world burn. They don't give a damn. Like, when it comes to any of this stuff, like they're just fine with, hey, let's just go abduct a whole bunch of kids and do whatever we want with them or something like that. And
it's almost like that Arby's commercial. The Arby's commercial where the little hat appears above the person's head. Like, what is it? Like a pea? The pea?
Yeah. It's just,
right.
I have the urge to murder now. I'm gonna go murder some children. That's literally what happens here every time.
It's so weird.
It is really weird. So, so after this kidnapping of Timothy White, Stayner actually felt a lot of sympathy, was very, very upset by the boy's distress, and decided to actually return him to his parents.
Well, wasn't Stayner kind of like, look, I know that Parnell did this to me, but I'll be damned if he's going to do it to somebody else.
Basically, yeah.
That's basically what it came down to.
So on March 1st, 1980, while Parnell was away at his night security job, Stayner left the house with White and hitchhiked to Ukiah. After they were unable to locate White's residence, they went to the police station. By daybreak on March 2nd, Parnell had been arrested on suspicion of abducting both boys. When the police checked into his background, they found a previous sodomy conviction from 1951. Both children were reunited with their families that day. Parnell was tried and convicted in 1981 of kidnapping White and Stayner in 2 different trials. He was sentenced to 7 years.
That's it.
But paroled
But
after
was
5.
paroled after serving 5.
Yeah. These people do not get enough time.
No, they don't, especially not back in the 80s.
Even now.
Oh, no. Now they should. Okay, look, honestly, it should be death.
I voted for the death penalty for it.
Yep. Should be death. Once you're proven that you've
In a case like this, where it's just like an open and shut case, and you've got both victims that are alive and willing to testify, it should be a hell of a lot more.
Because the only thing
a slap on the wrist.
The only thing that Parnell learned from this, especially after getting out after 6 years, was
kill them now.
Kill them. That's all I got to do now, and then I can get a new one every other month.
Yeah, I mean that's how Gacy learned.
Yeah,
it gets worse.
Oh, here we go.
Parnell was not charged with the numerous sexual assaults on Stayner and other boys because most of them occurred outside of the jurisdiction of the Merced County prosecutor, or were by then outside of the statute of limitations. The Mendocino County prosecutors, acting mostly entirely alone, decided not to prosecute Parnell for the sexual assaults that occurred in their jurisdiction. Murphy for helping kidnap Stayner and Porman, and Porman for helping kidnap White, were convicted of lesser charges. Both claimed they knew nothing of the sexual assaults on Stayner. Matthias was never arrested.
Wow.
Yet interviewed enough to hear, I had no clue that was not his legal child.
Yeah.
Which, again,
Stayner,
doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. Stayner actually remembered kindness of Uncle Murphy that he had shown to him the first week of captivity while they were both under the influence of Parnell's manipulation. He believed that Murphy was as much of Parnell's victim as he and White were. Stayner's kidnapping and its aftermath prompted California lawmakers to change state laws to allow consecutive prison terms in similar abduction cases.
Yeah. Yep. And then we're going to get into this part right here.
Ooh, you guys are all talking. Love it.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, everybody. We've missed. Hey, Alan. Yeah, this is our podcast side of things, so we don't get to the comments that much, but I do love that you guys are all talking and having fun.
Yes.
Please keep it up. It is great. So now we're going to talk about later life and death. So this is actually pretty sad. You would hope that somebody who had gone through so much bullshit in their lives and made it out on the other side would have survived longer.
Yeah.
After returning to his family, Stayner had trouble adjusting to more structured household as he had been allowed to smoke, drink, and do as he pleased when he lived with Parnell. In an interview with Newsweek shortly after his escapes, Stayner said, "I returned almost a grown man, and yet my parents saw me at first as their 7-year-old boy. After they stopped trying to teach me the fundamentals all over again, it got better. But why doesn't my dad hug me anymore? Everything has changed. Sometimes I blame myself. I don't know. Sometimes if I should have come home, would I have been better off if I didn't?"
Yeah.
That's sad.
The indifference. It's like, there's something we're going to get into with the family.
Yeah.
There's something major that's going to happen.
That is why we're telling you to go to Patreon.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the indifference that he had when coming home, it's almost
I don't
like,
know if it's indifference.
That's indifference right there.
I feel like I would have been having a lot of the same questions. Like,
Well, think of the confusion that he suffered. Like he's like, even though I was molested and did whatever by this guy, he still showed me more affection than they are right now.
Well, and I don't want to pass judgment on anybody, but it does
Oh,
seem
I'm
as
not
a
either.
parent,
Yeah.
you would be hugging that child every day.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like these are valid questions. These are valid emotions. These are valid responses because he's coming from a place that, yeah, he was severely abused, manipulated. But at the same time, he had perceived freedom.
He had more
perceived.
What he's perceiving at this moment right here. He's seeing that the confusion that he's having is literally what I said. Even though there was there was sexual assault and everything that happened over here, there was also affection and attention and stuff like that. But then he comes home. Yeah.
Also, the other aspect of it is they saw me as their 7-year-old boy.
Exactly.
I'm not a 7-year-old boy anymore. And I see the parents' side of that.
Oh, yeah.
And I see his side of it. I see the parents going, we lost you at 7. We don't know you other than a 7-year-old. So, like, we're learning. But then you see him.
I think at this point, too, Stayner just didn't feel like he belonged anywhere, which is sad.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I'm feeling out of that, too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everything has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So
sometimes I blame myself.
Yeah.
So Stayner underwent brief counseling, but never sought additional treatment. He also refused to disclose all the details of the sexual abuse that he endured from Parnell. Don't blame him. In a 2007 interview, Stayner's sister said that her brother did not seek counseling because their father said Stayner really didn't need it.
Fuck me, man. Are you serious?
God damn. She added, Steven got on with his life and he was pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Stayner was bullied by other children at school for being molested, eventually dropped out. He began to drink frequently and was eventually kicked out of the family home. His relationship with his father remained strained. In 1985, Stayner married 17-year-old Jody Edmondson, with whom he had 2 children, a daughter named Ashley and a son named Steven Jr. He also worked with children abduction groups, spoke to children about personal safety, and gave interviews about his kidnapping. Stayner later joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints shortly before his death. At the time of his death, Stayner was living in Merced and worked at a pizza shop. So on September 6, 1989, Stayner sustained a fatal head injury while on his way home from work when his motorcycle collided with a car in a hit and run accident.
Yeah.
The driver of the car, Antonio Loera, was later identified by witnesses. Loera was sentenced to 3 months in prison for a hit and run, but not found guilty in manslaughter.
Wow.
500 people attended Stayner's funeral, at which 14-year-old Timothy White was a pallbearer.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
What is it when, and I mean, okay, so Stayner doesn't work for a Fortune 500, company, but when somebody gets their life on track, have you ever noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It seems like as soon as somebody comes from a really screwed up situation and gets their life on track, unfortunately, something like this happens.
Oh, exactly.
Or their plane crashes, or
right. So there were some media adaptations that we don't really have to get into. I mean,
no, I think what's the last thing after that?
Yeah,
the aftermath. We want to read that, or
I do want to read the aftermath,
and that's pretty.
But yeah, I mean, really quick, there were 2-part television-based series on Stayner's experience. I Know My First Name is Steven. There was a Laura Mar Telepictures that had some non-speaking parts in there. The production actually received an Emmy Award nomination. And there's also Eccles, who had researched the story and published a few books. In fact, he did publish a book named I Know My First Name is Steven. He also infiltrated NAMBLA.
Wow. And that's that group back from the 70s
Gambling.
that had that
North
huge,
American Man Boy Love Association.
that
Fucking
huge
South Park.
card catalog of like children. It was crazy.
Yes.
Dude,
Yes.
South Park made them famous for all the right reasons by exposing them.
Yes. I
I
love
South Park.
that episode of
I
South
love
Park.
South Park for everything that Trey Parker and Matt Stone do. They're like the champions of free speech, and they're amazing. That episode, doole oole oole, doole oole. They're just running after Cartman and everybody.
So the aftermath. 10 years after Stayner's death, for the record, he died at 24. If you guys didn't notice that.
Yeah.
He died at the age of 24.
Yep.
The aftermath, 10 years later, after his death, the city of Merced asked its residents to propose names for city parks honoring Merced's notable citizens. Stayner's parents proposed one be named Stayner Park. This idea was eventually rejected, and the honor was given instead to another Merced residents because
And
of
we can say it
something
now.
that we're going to get into.
Yep.
Well, actually, we can say it now. No,
Yeah, we can say it now.
No, we can say
Well,
it now because
We can say it now. Let people know what we're going to be talking about.
because
his brother
Stayner's brother Kerry.
is the Yosemite Park's killer.
Oh, I wasn't even going to get that far, but he had confessed and was convicted of killing 4 women in 1999. And so they didn't want to use the name Stayner because his brother was a serial killer.
So just to let you guys know, this is going to be a series on Patreon, and you're only going to be able to hear it on Patreon. We're not releasing this anywhere else but Patreon, and we're going to start doing some stuff. We got a lot more stuff lined up. What we're going to be doing like this, specific shows on our Patreon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So, the officials feared that the name Stayner Park would not be associated with Steven and that it would be associated with his brother Kerry.
Mm-hmm.
In 2004, Parnell, then 72 years old, was convicted of trying the previous year to persuade his caretaker's sister to procure him a young boy for $500.
So he didn't stop one bit. He just finally got caught because he got older.
This was after.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was 72 years old when
he got out of prison already.
Yeah.
And he now had a caretaker. And he tried to actually persuade the caretaker's sister to procure him a young boy for $500.
Yeah.
Well, aware of Parnell's past, she reported this to the local police. White, then a grown man, was subpoenaed to testify in Parnell's criminal case. Although Stayner was dead, his testimony at Parnell's earlier trial was read to jurors as evidence in Parnell's 2004 trial.
I'm surprised they let them do that. A lot of times they will not.
No.
Oh yeah, well, it's usually extenuating circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the crazy thing about this, what I'm saying is, he was released 6 years after the initial one was like
5.
Yeah. So he was released in the late 80s.
Mid. Yeah.
So he's had all this time until 2004.
God knows what he's done, and they never knew about it.
Oh yeah.
So he died of natural causes on January 21st, 2008 at the California Medical Facility in Vacaville while serving a sentence of 25 years to life.
Yeah.
So he got more from this case to where he tried to procure a young boy than kidnapping a child and keeping him for years.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So,
I mean, it's good they changed the laws, but that's just crazy.
Hey, he got to get out and live his life. He got to live his life how he saw fit and do terrible things that he did not get caught for until I
have good news and bad news. So White, the kidnapped 5-year-old boy.
Yes.
He later became a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy. Or excuse me, deputy. But on April 1st, 2010, he died at the age of 35 from a pulmonary embolism.
Oh, wow.
Nearly 5 months later, on August 28th, a statue of Stayner and White was dedicated in Applegate Park in Merced. Residents of Ukiah, White's hometown, carved a statue showing a teenage Stayner with a young White in hand while escaping their captivity. Fundraisers for the statue have stated that it was meant to honor Stayner and give families of missing and kidnapped children hope that they are still alive.
Yep.
Stephen's father, Delbert Stayner, died April 9th, 2013 at his home in Winton, California. He was 79.
Wow.
So we are now
I'm going to do some comments real fast, and then we'll get over to...
we are now going to talk about the serial killer, Cary Stayner.
the Yosemite Parks killer.
Yep. All right, so let's get to some comment. Ooh.
Yeah, there's a couple here. We just... you
You
were further down in that. Yeah, we just skipped
No, I
through.
wasn't. I saw Craigslist and that was it.
Yeah.
So, hey Batman, what's up? So, yeah, they didn't get the right punishment.
No, they didn't on that. That was actually insane. He got to live his terrible life the way he saw fit for years.
Well, I hope there are pineapples involved now.
Lots of pineapples.
Lots of very large pineapples.
I hope Lucifer is making him have sex with adult women right now. That's what I hope is going on. Is all no, you're gonna go over here, you're gonna watch normal pornos for 1,000 years, and you're gonna have sex with adult women.
There you go.
I do want to
Fucking weirdo.
mention that there are only maybe one or two living descendants of Adolf Hitler, and they have agreed to never have children. And at this point, they're in their like 80s.
Yes.
Wow.
And older,
Oh, is
and they
that
have
what's-
never had children. So, Alan said something about descendants of Adolf Hitler's Twitter former brother and uncles. So basically, he's trying to say that nobody wanted to associate themselves with Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, they didn't.
And yes, you are correct.
They became Edwin Heitlers or something like that. What was their new names?
No. So basically, they actually vowed, all the descendants vowed to never procreate and not to carry on the line. And
Which,
they have done
you know,
so.
in a certain aspect, though, that's kind of sad because no one should have to pay for the sins of their father.
Exactly.
Unless they were
decided-
somehow culpable. But I do imagine they were probably very young at that time.
Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, sins of their mother and father.
Yeah.
So
But so we're gonna switch on over to Patreon. Hey Ivar, I'm sorry you're not feeling well, man.
Yep.
We love you too, Dizzy. Yeah, guys, remember tomorrow I have Dizzy and Tex on. I'm gonna get an ad up hopefully tonight. It should have been up today, but it was not. Sorry. But yes, we are going to switch on over to Patreon right now. So head on over that way. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you over there.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in a little bit.